Weight Watchers now offers access to affordable GLP-1s.
Weight Watchers has everything I need, from weight loss medications to nutrition support and help with my side effects.
With our program, our members are losing more weight with expert nutrition and side effect support.
Weight Watchers prescribing GLP-1 medications. It's been life-changing.
Better results, expert support, lose more weight, make it last. Get started for as low as $25 at WeightWatchers.com.
All medications require eligibility and prescription. First month is low as $25 with a 12-month Med Plus plan. Does not include the cost of GLP-1 medications.
Your inner child, whether it was you a week ago that went through something or you when you were 5, gets wounded and hangs on to those wounds in your brain and in your subconscious mind and your nervous system. And that births what is called the ego mind, or maybe you call it the inner critic. Some people call it the shadow, but that is the voice in your mind that belittles you, that criticizes you, that beats you up, breaks you down, tells you you're not good enough, that tells you have willpower, don't binge, but then it's like you had a bad day, you should go do it anyway, and then shames you afterward because you did it. Right? The lack, fear, worry, anger, frustration, jealousy, loathing, criticism. These are all emotions that we feel when we give our power away to that ego or inner critic, which lives in the mind.
Welcome to the Bond Life Podcast, where fitness, mindset, and real talk collide. This isn't just about workouts. It's about transforming your body, mind, and life. Get ready for unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and the motivation you need to level up in every way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast. I am Melissa Vogel, your host. Welcome to the show. I'm really excited for this episode. It is empowering. We are diving into emotional eating and healing, and it's such a good conversation for men and women, and especially if you have kids, because the more that you're educated, you can see things in them and help guide them on the right path. Because you guys, these are things that no one talked to us about when we were kids. No one addressed these issues with us when we were children. And our guest shares a story about when she was 5 and how that impacted her and stuck with her and became a limited belief for the rest of her life. So this episode, it's good. You don't want to miss it. But first, I hope everyone is enjoying this time of the month. It's springtime. We are almost to summer, you guys. I can't believe I'm even saying that. And it's true. We're in April. Like, weather's going to be changing here. And we're all getting outside a little bit more. And I love it. And when all these things change, something changes with us too. Because it could be because of the warmer weather and we're wearing less clothing and all that. You guys know the drill. And it's like, okay, well, now I need to lose weight. Like, come on, I've put this off all year long and I don't want to show up as fat again for the summer. It happens. This is a real conversation that people have with me, you have with yourself inside your head. And I want to tell you that you don't need to do this alone at all. You do not need to do this journey alone. And I want to make sure that you guys know first before anyone else comes out on social media, because spots will fill up. I said this the other episode. We will have information and links coming to you too to join, but I want you to write it down on your calendars. We are doing the Fit Body Method. It is going to be 4 weeks of coaching with me. You guys, it's literally $2 a day. It's like $48 to join for 4 weeks for coaching. It's going to be phenomenal. So I want you to join. I want you to grab your friend, your sister, someone. Maybe you're coaching with me. Maybe you're a current client and you're listening to this and you're like, you know, she's always said she wanted to do something, or he said that he was interested. This is for men and women. Get them in. Get them in. Again, we will share the link when we have it. We will have a landing page and everything for you guys to click and join and do all of that. But we want you to come in, be coached, be motivated, be inspired, and do the right exercises, moves, and address a lot of things while you're physically changing your body. And that's why I'm so excited to be able to talk about this with this episode today, because you're going to learn how much all goes into your fitness journey with this episode, which you already know. We talk about it a lot, but like, you're really going to understand that and why it's so important to do the work mentally on the inside as well as physically. And this is an opportunity for you to do it and to not do it alone. But it's time. You know, everyone's like, God, I really should book a call. I really should do something. Maybe I'm a fit. And if you're like on the fence and you don't know, do this. This is it. You can't find anything cheaper that's going to change your life and your body forever. And I'm calling it the method, like I said before, for a reason. I'm so sick of boot camps. I'm so sick of challenges. Like, I hate all that. This is a method that you're going to be learning, and you're going to get my app too. So I'm going to drop all of the workouts into your app. We're going to have a community on there. You'll be able to DM, send messages, all of that. And then we'll run, in our Facebook group, the VIP group. Get into there now. We'll put the link to that in the show notes. It's a free VIP group that we run where we share ideas, comments, questions, concerns, videos. We do free giveaways, things like that. Get into that group now, but we'll run the challenge in that group too. We'll stay there in a community, but get pumped for this. I am. It starts May 4th through June 1st, and we will have a Biggest Loser. We will have giveaways and a prize, and it's going to be a good time. But most importantly, you're going to win a new version of you. And it's perfect timing because it ends at June 1st, and it's going to kick you off into the summer feeling strong and empowered. And like, I did that. I did the work, which again, going into this episode, that's what we want. We want you empowered. Today we have Amber Romaniuk on, and she is an emotional eating and digestive and hormone expert. She's got 12 years of experience helping high-achieving women create a level of body confidence, intuition, and optimal health through powerful mindset healing, self-care, and overcoming self-sabotage. And she does this through addressing key negative thoughts, patterns, limited beliefs, like we've been talking about, that keep people stuck in the same behaviors for years and decades that they haven't been able to break. She also has a podcast, the No Sugarcoating podcast. She has 2+ million downloads, over 600 episodes, and is listened to in over 90 countries. And Amber overcame her own emotional eating after gaining and losing more than 1,000 pounds. I said 100 in the episode. And she's like, oh no, it's 1,000. And she was spending $50,000 on binge foods, spending 5 years balancing her hormones and digestion. And she also dismantled her limited belief system and behaviors that kept her stuck in the same loop patterns. And now she helps others achieve the biggest healing miracles of body freedom so they have the confidence and health to create amazing lives. Amber's story is incredible. She is an incredible coach. What she shares on here is so powerful. If you can, get a pen and paper ready. Like, if you're in the car, don't just listen away. But seriously, if you have the opportunity to take notes and timestamp parts of what she says, it's so powerful. There were so many times during this episode, if you watch the full recording of it, I'm grabbing my pen and writing my own notes because like, yes, that right there, what she just said, you're going to have so many moments of that. So check out the show notes, learn more about her, follow, see how you can work with her. And then listen to the episode, take notes, and then take action, you guys. Take action on creating the life that you want. All right, everyone, rate and review this podcast. Every rate and review helps. Leave us a 5-star review if you feel it's appropriate. And always comment, and then make sure you follow the show. All right, everyone, enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life podcast. Today we have Amber Romaniuk on the show. Welcome to the show, Amber.
Melissa, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Oh girl, I'm already laughing and kind of sweating. I'm screwing up her name. Already good conversation before we hit record. I'm really excited to dive into all of this. So
Me too.
I'm thrilled that you're here. Girl, you are an emotional eating expert. Digestive and hormone expert. You are a podcast host of the No Sugarcoating podcast. Love the name. I say that a lot. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this.
Yeah.
I love it. You have your own journey of like gaining and losing more than 100 pounds. Like, holy shit.
That's a typo. It's 1,000.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That just even adds to like your knowledge and everything and more, because I'm always like, those who have lived it, experienced it, and we've screwed up more than anyone else, make the best teachers, coaches, experts.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like out of all of it. But your story is amazing. Now, we have talked about emotional eating on this show before. It's been a while, and man, everyone says something different. And that's why I love this conversation.
Yeah, and it is. And everyone has a different experience, different approach, different things to bring to the table. And this is something that way too many women are struggling with. In fact, binge and emotional eating is like the #1 biggest diagnosis in the United States that is, in my opinion, not being addressed properly, that can be healed fully. So that's why we're here.
It's a daily conversation in my group. I do like a group program with women, then I do one-on-one, and it's a daily conversation with both. And it's amazing when you make people just stop, feel what's going on, don't just immediately react, what comes out of that.
Yeah, totally.
Like, but I thought I was just craving Sour Patch Kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
body doesn't crave Sour Patch Kids.
No.
Does not crave it. So, okay, I'm dying to know, how did this become what you do? Like, how did you wake up one morning and was like, I'm going to be an emotional eating expert? I mean, I'm sure you didn't, but how did this start for you?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't in the plans. You know, when I first graduated high school, went to college, I went to school to be like a TV reporter, but I'm glad that that never panned out. But having the expertise or like his background in speaking and things was definitely beneficial. But there's a few key things that kind of unfolded as I grew up that really morphed into emotional eating and binge eating. And then from there, it really got bad. So when I was 5, and I like to share these things because it helps the audience reflect on like maybe things that you went through that accumulated to why you're behaving and thinking and feeling the way you are about yourself. So when I was 5, it was my first day taking the bus in the country. Just envision me at 5 with a mushroom cut, just like rolling in my pink sweater, getting on the bus. And as soon as I get on, like all the older boys call me fat and ugly. And then the entire bus is just making fun of me. And I took that so deep and it hurts so much. And I took that identity of fat and ugly on for the next 20 years of my life. And obviously felt very insecure in my body, very quiet, very shy. It was a very traumatic moment. And then from there, my mom was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis before I was born. And so I think a couple things, watching your mother, like your idol, decline your entire life, especially from a young age, and being the only child is like one of the most difficult circumstances to go through, on top of her like talking about how she constantly hated herself and her body and like all these things. And like when you're not equipped to deal with that, you just internalize it and take it all in. And then I think, you know, everything we did was revolved around food because she had a food addiction, but I didn't realize it until I healed my own and just observed some of her behaviors. And so food was a big part of our relationship, I think, to compensate for a lot of the things that she couldn't do because of her diagnosis. And so in early teens, you know, I grew up in like the Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears era. So it's like all the tiny little bodies and what's wrong with me. I don't have a flat stomach. I'm going to diet and do all these weird, crazy things to try and lose weight. And then the binge eating really hit hard when I was 21. I had my first real breakup, was so upset I could barely eat, and started losing weight really quickly, over exercising, under eating, reached my goal weight really quickly, thought it was going to fix everything because the weight loss industry tells you once you lose weight, you'll finally be happy, which is the biggest lie. And then, of course, I was like, this is really unattainable. My cycle disappeared. And then I went to a party where I always was like, I'll just eat the salad. I'm not going to eat anything else because I need to maintain my weight. And I had a piece of ice cream cake, and that turned into 2. And then I had a burger, and then I took the whole chocolate bar off the table that was for everyone to go and make s'mores after, and ate it in the bathroom. And then I left and got fast food and like binged until I was so full. I felt so bad after that. And then woke up the next morning in regret, guilt, shame, embarrassment, panic. Oh my God, I need to go to the gym for 3 hours. I need to skip breakfast and lunch to compensate. And that really birthed the all or nothing mentality for me. And then I was binge eating 5 or 6 days a week, gained 80 pounds in 4 months, became the heaviest I had ever been, went through bulimia for 6 months. The mentality behind that was really like, if I purge, I will not gain weight. Yeah. But unfortunately, purging on top of binge eating is so destructive and stressful on every aspect of your body and your psyche that it makes your body feel so unsafe that you put on weight more easily. And then I stopped purging because 2 things I convinced myself of. The first was, I don't want to end up with serious cardiac issues and have this end me. I'm very concerned about the health issues that could accumulate. The second thing was, this purge is this lack of ownership and responsibility. I'm binging and then going, well, I can just get rid of it and then I'll be empty and then I don't have to deal with the guilt and the shame. Yeah. And so I promised myself, I'm not going to purge anymore. And if I binge, I have to deal with the discomfort. I have to deal with what I've just done. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. But the binge eating still kept on for a couple more years. And I was deep into food addiction. It was just like 6-7 nights a week, going to the organic store, spending $50 to $80 on my binge food, and then going and hiring personal trainers and putting it on my credit card, thinking, oh, they'll fix me. They don't even know I have a food addiction, but it'll just unconsciously motivate me to stop, and going for like 2 sessions. And then the trainer being like, you've gained weight. What's wrong? And then I like just didn't go back. There goes $5,000 that I didn't have. Right. And it's just like, you're so embarrassed and so ashamed, thinking all these external things are going to like stop it and like build up this level of willpower that they never do. And then my low point moment where I really realized I had to do something about it was a night I'd finished a binge, just laying on the couch in pain. emotionally and physically, just crying like, I don't know why this is happening. I know I'm aware I'm in binge eating, but I have no idea how to stop it. I don't want to do this anymore, but I also really do. And it was just like, I don't know if I'm going to make 30 if I keep up this level of destructive behavior, this level of destructive negative self-talk, self-loathing, all of it. And I'd always thrown the food in the garbage because I thought, well, I'm not going to go dig through the garbage and eat the food. And that particular night, of course, after my food had settled for about an hour, what I call the ego mind, the inner critic was like, well, if this is the last time you're going to do this, there's that all or nothing. You might as well just go eat the rest of the cookies. And so I went into the kitchen, pulled out my garbage, dug through, found the cookies and ate them. And then I threw them out in the dumpster in the back alley and went out into the dumpster and grabbed them later again. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
How is this my life? I'm alone. I am very unwell. I just ate out of my dumpster, my garbage. My bank account's always in the red. I have a crappy retail. Like how did all of this become my life? I've literally revolved my entire life around food and the number on the scale, and it's just all a mess. And I needed that moment to happen because what happens for a lot of people, and it's so innocent, but I was in such a deep state of denial that what I was doing wasn't a big deal. Food's safe. It's my friend. It's comfortable. Trying to chase the number on the scale. This is what I know. It's daunting and intimidating thinking about who I would be if I didn't revolve my whole world around this. Even though I'm suffering, the suffering's immense, but the comfort zone I'm in is very familiar. And so that moment crushed the denial. I could no longer deny that it wasn't a big deal because it was. And it also crushed the fear of the unknown and the overwhelm of like, I have 80 pounds to lose. I have all these other things I need to deal with. I have no idea what to do or where to start. But the way I describe it is I felt like I was on the end of the Amazon jungle with a butter knife getting ready to like find my way through. Cause I was like, I literally know that nothing, but I had this like invisible drive within me that was just like, you're going to figure it out. Just like start taking steps. And then I went on the journey, which of course was like not linear. I had all kinds of ups and downs. You don't just decide that you're going to do something about it and then you stop binge eating, you stop all this stuff. Like it's got all of its ups and downs. Right. That's, going on the journey and healing what I call multidimensionally, healing physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, even spiritually, healing behaviors that were no longer serving me and figuring out where they were coming from. So I'm happy to, if you want to touch on any of those pieces, I'm happy to do so. But that's what brought me to the binge eating and then healing. And then I was like, how many other women are struggling with this and are not getting proper support? Like I have the brain of the person who's healed this and the understanding. Like I really think I can provide a lot of value. And that's what really prompted me to get into this work. And then, healing my hormones and my gut, and my blood sugar, and all these other things that I did on an emotional level and building self-worth and self-love and detaching from the number on the scale and losing weight without diet and exercise and realizing it's a safety mechanism. Like all these things just became like my assets that I could support my clients with.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so important to hear your story and the ups and the downs. I mean, I'm sure just the first half of your story, we could do a 2-hour episode on.
Yeah.
I mean, you just gave us a lot of information really fast, but that's really important to know where you came from, because I think especially women, and we have a lot of male listeners too, that can totally relate to this.
Yeah.
But especially for women, we think like, there's no way no one else is going through this.
Totally.
Like the shame sets in and like no one else could be this bad. And there's no way someone else healed from this because they feel so deep in it and so just lost and, all the other emotions that come with it. So hearing your story and knowing like, oh my God, I'm sure there's someone listening going, that's me. What she just described, I've done that, or that's me right now, or I see this in my daughter, or, something. And so I really appreciate you sharing your journey. One of the things that you said, like one of the biggest lies that we're told is that we will find our happiness when we lose weight.
Totally.
I'm sitting there when you said that, I literally wrote it down and was like, absolutely. It is such a lie that we are fed. And now with social media and reels and everything, like we have to see it too.
Yes.
God bless all of the before and after photos and stuff that we get to see. And like, I love that. I love seeing transformation videos and all of that. But like, oh my God, we don't realize how much it messes with our head when we see someone standing there like overweight and they're like, and they're like all frumpy in the before photo. And then in the after photo, they're smiling, they're posing, they look great. That messes with our brain, makes us think, oh, when I look like that, then I will be happy and have that smile.
100%. Yeah. And how much of that is photoshopped and edited and altered right?
Yeah.
We don't know the lengths to some of these companies and their marketing, what they do to deceive people. But when you feel unworthy and you hate your body or you self-loathe and you're like, we're broken down into these like insecure women and men who get to this point where you're so desperate, you'll literally try anything.
Yes.
Like thank God Ozempic was not a thing when I was trying to heal, because I probably would have tried it. I was just desperate to lose the weight and try anything. But like, we're so broken down subconsciously in our mind by social media, by the media, by Hollywood and all these aspects that they get you to the point where you'll literally try anything, even if it's a detriment to your health. And I think that's where we need to really like emphasize being aware of like, are you making choices out of fear and lack and insecurity? Or are you making a choice out of this place of like, I want to do something good for myself? Because there can be a lot of consequences to making choices out of a place of desperation.
Yes. Right. You had mentioned like the all or nothing. And you were talking about your story, and like that's when it started, the all or nothing. And just kind of going back to like the before and afters and the reels and stuff. I've posted, before and afters of clients before in my story and everything. I don't do it a whole lot, but I do it. But I've had people comment and someone lost like 10 pounds or they were down like 1.5% body fat. And you can tell there's a difference. And people will comment, well, that's not that big of a deal. That's not that big of a change. And I'm going, do you know what this person had to do to lose it the right way? Why does it have to be such an extreme to get an applause from anyone now? Which means then when we lose that, we're not even celebrating the little wins. It's got to be like so big and so all or nothing. And it's like dropping a percent of body fat is a really big deal when you've earned it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think because a lot of the changes we're shown are so extreme, and because social media is such a dopamine suck, like our brains get so desensitized to observing a change or transformation in someone and not seeing an extreme change because there's so much extreme promoted online that then it just, desensitizes and you don't get a dopamine high because it's not a stimulating enough visual, right? When it's not supposed to be about that, but we chase a lot from this dopamine, like, oh, look at that. Oh, that. And there's so much chemically and, emotionally going on in the mind.
Yeah. You brought up Ozempic, and I know people are like, what does she think of that?
Yeah.
Which we can already tell. And the GLP-1s, like it's a hot topic right now. And I know you and I were talking about this before we started, but talk about a danger zone,
Very much.
And the biggest thing with these, it's you don't feel that hunger. And hunger is so important. It tells us so much about how we're feeling, our emotions. Are you under eating? Are you overeating? Like, how do you want to block out one of the biggest ways that our body speaks to us?
Yeah.
So girl, let me have it. Let me have it, Amber.
100%. Yeah. So I am not a fan of Ozempic and the GLP-1s. I think they're one of the biggest quick fixes to ever hit the market. And they have a lot of potentially life-threatening side effects that are not worth the risk, in my opinion. We produce GLP-1 in the small intestine, and it does help with our feeling satiated and hunger and things like that. And we can naturally improve the function of it if we heal our relationship with food. If we work on our metabolism, we test our hormones and improve our hormone function, we improve our gut function. Like we can do that without the quick fix. And this is the problem, is society has been so conditioned, just shut things off, shove it down, numb it, shut it off, which it's not normal to shut nature off. Your body is this like natural, beautiful vessel. And then you're shutting off your hunger signal. Not only is it doing that, it's shutting off your ability to feel it. It really suppresses dopamine and the reward and the ability to feel pleasure and creativity. And it's shutting all this off as well. And then women are becoming suicidal or flatlined and literally are not feeling anything, which is also not normal. And maybe you've already been shoving down your emotions with the food, but that just literally shuts things off. And so then you're walking around feeling nothing, you're not hungry, and starvation of the body is never healthy, in my opinion, especially for women. Some people can fast, but most women know we need to eat. We need to eat enough to support good metabolism, mood hormones. Like it's a basic need that is so valuable, that gives us our life force. So to starve ourselves and to shut all of these key communications that, like you said, there's so much information that we get from these things, because I need to lose weight so I can finally be happy. It's just, to me, it's just such a way of sabotage, or it's just a way to literally, in my opinion, if you're choosing Ozempic for weight loss, for trying to curb your cravings and stop binge eating, you are saying no to deeper healing and taking ownership and responsibility. Yes. And you're saying yes to quick fixing and just shutting everything off. And that's not going to help you step into your worth and loving yourself and heal your insecurities. It's not going to help you learn how to listen to your body and understand that your emotional eating triggers, your binge eating triggers are teachers, and they're trying to show you where you're out of alignment or where something needs your attention. It's not going to teach you to learn about your hormones in your gut and what might be off. You're just shutting everything off and again, giving your power away to an external system that does not care about you and your well-being, but wants to make as much money as they can off of you. And then when the side effects kick in, which I don't wish it upon anybody, but the lawsuits we're seeing, 1,000 people just filed because they went blind permanently. The paralysis of the digestive system. I talked to a woman last week who took it for a year, lost 40 pounds, went off of it, gained it all back because she didn't address the binge eating.
Right.
And she literally only goes to the washroom once every 8 days because she had to come off of it because it slowed her gastric emptying down that much. And of course, it trashes your thyroid and your metabolism and your hormones, and you're now deficient in a lot of nutrients. Osteopenia, osteoporosis, muscle loss that are permanent, like turbo cancers. Like it's not worth that quick gratification. The risk is too big. And then guess what? It's funny, I say this all the time. You know what I never think about when I'm in a stressful circumstance or an uncomfortable circumstance? Thank God I lost that weight. That's really helping me right now. I never think that. I think I'm so grateful that I've done my work and I don't like this and this is uncomfortable, but I know I'm going to get through it and I've got the tools and I've got the support and it's going to be okay because I've got my back and I love myself. Like that is priceless.
Yeah.
The weight will never fix anything else in your life.
No. One thing I have said is, thank God I have muscle.
Yeah.
Like I've been in situations where I was like, holy shit, thank God I was so in shape and that I have like muscle to defend myself and support myself. That I have said, but I've never 100%. Been like, thank God I lost that 60 pounds.
Yeah. And I get it. We all have a natural set point. But the thing is, if you really...
This is the new Weight Watchers, built for real life and real results, no matter what mode you're in. Maddie went all in for her big day and lost 33 pounds. Emily lost 85 pounds and hit her goal while still living her life.
Weight Watchers gave me the tools and I feel amazing.
Join the millions of members and lose weight with the #1 doctor-recommended weight loss program. Lose more at WeightWatchers.com.
At 6 months, participants in a clinical trial of Weight Watchers program lost an average of 12 pounds.
At Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family. You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions from Magi Quest, a live-action game that takes place throughout the lodge, to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part? With 22 lodges across the country, you're always only a short drive away from adventure. So bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Book your stay today at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
You learn on a more holistic level why your body doesn't feel safe and to take the steps to understand your weight loss blocks, because they're mental, physical, emotional, psychological, like hormonal, inflammatory. Like if you get curious about that and do that healing instead, your body will let go without force.
Yes.
Right? That's the key. I went through that. I lost 80 pounds post binge eating by focusing on safety, balancing my hormones and healing my inner child and doing the deeper work. But that's the thing. You got to be willing to do the deeper work. But it fell off and I was like, this is the way? Like this was so much easier than the old way.
Hey guys, if you're listening to this right now and thinking, I need to do something, but I keep putting it off, this is your sign. Summer's right around the corner, and if you're not feeling good in your body, you're not feeling confident in your skin, and you know you've been putting on some weight, we don't need to keep talking about this anymore. It's time to move. I'm opening up my Fit Body Method, a 4-week program running May 4th through June 1st. This is for men and women who are ready to stop starting over and actually follow through. Lose weight, put on muscle. Over these next 4 weeks, if you take this serious, you can realistically drop up to 10 pounds, build strength, and completely shift how you feel in your body before summer even hits. You're getting my app, structured workouts, coaching from me and my team, real accountability, and a private VIP group where you don't get to disappear. We're in it with you every step of the way. And here's the best part. It's literally $2 a day. So no more excuses. Go to the show notes, click the link, and join us. Let's get you feeling strong, confident, and ready for summer. Let's get you feeling strong, confident, and ready for summer. Okay, back to the show. People just don't understand that. I am constantly telling my clients, like, if we look at your relationship, that's in turmoil, or I always talk about, like, you are made up of clear tubes. Just picture your body, clear tubes everywhere. And if you have one area that's stuck with gunk, that will prevent your body from letting go of weight that you are trying to lose. And I explain this and people will still go, do you really think that?
I know, right?
Sure, you really think that my terrible relationship with my father, and the back and forth and everything we have and the gaslighting that's happened, do you really think that's making me keep weight on? Yes, Karen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally. But I think the thing is because the diet and the weight loss industry have conditioned women subconsciously for how many years now, right?
Bingo.
We've been so conditioned to give our power away, counting calories, weighing your food, weighing in several times a day, eat less, exercise more. This has been so drilled into women's subconscious mind and men too, but women have been hit harder.
Oh, yeah.
That we have so been disconnected from learning how to trust our bodies and listen to our bodies and ask, what does my body want? How does my body feel like this? It's like, no, I need to do this and I need to have control. It needs to be perfect. And that fuels the all or nothing. And that puts you into nervous system dysregulation and spikes your stress hormones and suppresses your metabolism, makes it easier for you to hang on to weight. So we need to unlearn the programming that we are constantly receiving from the diet and the weight loss industry. And we need to take our power back and learn how to listen to our bodies. And honestly, it's very easy to take a breath, close your eyes and go, hey, body, what messages do you have for me around my weight, around eating, around whatever? But you actually have to take a few minutes for yourself, which a lot of women are hesitant to do because they feel guilty slowing down and they don't feel worthy taking any time. Right. And so that's why so many women do the quick fixes and the Ozempic and stuff. Like, I don't have time to do the deeper work. I just need to lose the weight and move on with my life. And it's like, well,
yes,
at some point you're going to be faced with a real serious choice to ask, do I keep rushing and ignoring my body and potentially like taking years off my life or creating an environment where I could manifest some really serious symptoms or illness? Or am I going to really start looking at things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have clients that'll be like 3:00 and I message them, check in. They haven't even gone to the bathroom for the day yet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally.
I haven't had time to pee. I'm like,
yeah, that's a basic need you've got to start giving time to. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one person right now making them slow down and you are to look out the window when you eat. And I want you to stay there until you've seen 3 birds.
Yeah.
And it sounds so ridiculous, right? Like, and she'll be like, I'm sitting here. I see a bird. I'm like, okay, well, like good, whatever we need to do. But
yeah, totally.
Before it was no lunch at all or inhaling it so fast, standing at the door, waiting to go out the door.
Yeah.
I'm like, good Lord, there's just so much to this. And Amber, there's just not enough conversations happening about this.
I agree.
People are scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's becoming worse. Influencers are turning more towards, like peptides and things that they can market and things like that.
Yeah.
But no one's talking about these things and people are getting scared because they're like, well, that's not what's hot right now. It's not sexy to talk about binge eating or bulimia.
Yeah. Yeah. Yet it's an epidemic. And here's the thing though, is, in my opinion, the future of health and healing is not the quick fixes. It's not all these injections and things. The hot topic is going to be, let's get real and talk about our stuff. Let's address the roots and let's get honest and vulnerable because that's what's going to set you free and help you heal. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to live your most empowering life. That's why I always say like help you heal and gain food and body freedom so you can step fully into the woman you've always dreamed of being, because it's so hard to fully be the woman you've always dreamed of being. If you're fighting with your body with food, you're exhausted. Your hair's falling out. You got brain fog. You're apathetic. You're like, you have a great relationship with your husband, but when you wake up one day and you don't feel anything and think you should leave, but it's your progesterone is tanked.
Right.
But you don't know that. And so you consider making a really irrational decision instead of taking the time to understand why you're feeling, you know what I mean? Like there's so much value in it. And I feel like at some point people are going to get really tired. And I feel like people are getting to the point where they're just getting so unwell where like they need to have the conversation and start looking at it because it's becoming too much of a zone of suffering. So you might as well do it now and put the time and energy and money into the deeper healing now so that you can learn how to, you know how nice it feels to learn how to love yourself and feel worthy?
I know.
And slow down and have energy and not binge and be able to eat a piece of cake and enjoy it and move on and not feel guilty. And just like, that was so good. And I'm moving on to the next part of my day. And oh my gosh, I was just looking out the window and there's like 20 robins in the tree. And that was so nice to like watch them. And now I'm going to this beautiful place and enjoying the scenery and the interaction on the podcast. And like every moment gets to be just as like amazing and delicious as eating the cake when you heal this and you don't lose control and you can have the balance, but you've got to do the healing to get to that place to clear the all or nothing and clear the guilt and the shame around, I had cake. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. The day is ruined, screwed. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'll try again tomorrow. Right? Like that's the stuff that needs attention.
Or I'm so stupid. I'm so fat. You're such a fat ass. Like
the self-talk. Do you know that you can create significant hormone imbalances and hang on to weight if you are a serious inner critic and you're constantly beating yourself up? It could be that alone that could be causing so much havoc inside, because as soon as you go into self-criticism, judgment, or negative self-talk, you put your body into a stress response and your body receives and perceives that negative self-talk as a threat, spikes your cortisol stress hormone. Okay. As soon as your cortisol is chronically high, you're putting on abdominal weight and you're swollen and you're tired and your immune system gets suppressed. And then from there, it can cascade into all kinds of other hormone issues, blood sugar issues, thyroid, etc. So it's like that in itself, let alone all the other potential things.
Unbelievable. And I know some people are probably listening going like, that just seems like really far-fetched. And like, are you sure? And it's like,
let's just do your blood work and you can see for yourself.
Yeah. Let's just check. Let's check your estrogen and your progesterone. Where's your testosterone?
How's your thyroid functioning? Because we can talk about it, but I see the similar patterns of hormone imbalances in most of the clients that I work with. And I went through all of them as well. But most women that I work with have 3 to 5 different hormone imbalances going on. And that's just hormones, let alone high cholesterol, high inflammatory markers, iron deficiency, B12 deficiency, low vitamin D. So there could be a lot going on internally that you're just again ignoring, or it's like you're in burnout or whatever it is, but it feels normal because you don't know any better. But in 12 years, thousands of tests, thousands of clients, I've never had a woman not have hormone imbalances.
That's crazy. Yeah. I did blood work probably almost a year ago. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm fit, but I want to be like optimized. And I really want to know. And I for sure had markers come back of inflammation. They were like, look, when my doctor did it, it was like, you are hypo with your thyroid. We're looking at hypothyroidism. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, medication. I'm like, no. What needs to happen? How do we bring these markers down? Like, and I really dove in, fully changed everything. When I came back and then we redid my blood, they were like, we just don't see this. They were like, what did you do? Well, I sauna 3 times a week now. I'm doing infrared light. I now have my vitamin D and K, my vitamin B, my vitamin C with my beef liver. Like I'm doing like so many just little things. People are like, oh my God, you take so much. I'm like, not really.
Better than medication.
Yeah, I'm just optimizing everything. And they couldn't believe it. They're like, your thyroid's amazing. You totally detoxed. And I'm like, okay. And people are like, how do you have time to sit in the sauna for 20 minutes, 3 times a week? And I'm like, I make time.
Yeah.
I make time because I don't want to make time to go get a prescription filled and just be like, this is your life.
Well, and I always say if you have time to scroll on social media or watch TV, you have time to do self-care. So challenge yourself with that. Everyone has time. It's where are you prioritizing it? And once you start doing it and you feel and experience the value of it, you will make time for it. But yeah, I just helped a client come off her Synthroid last week. We reviewed her updated labs and I'm like,
wow,
you need to go to your doctor because I don't think you need this anymore. She was binge eating, healed that. She was eating too much inflammatory food. So we brought in some swaps, gut stuff, right? And then, she's like, I never imagined. And she was in her 60s. She's like, I never thought I would be able to come off of this and that my thyroid could ever function properly again, right? So even if you're already on something, we can always heal our body. The body's always trying to heal. We're just getting in the way or we're not getting properly supported.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. With the mental stuff, I wanted to kind of bring this up a little bit because you talk about like the limiting beliefs, and those were like things that you had to really heal and get over and replace, right? With different beliefs with yourself. And when I'm working with clients and talking with people, it's so crazy because I'm always talking about like the new person you're going to become. Like your change has to go deeper than just your physical body neck down.
Right.
And it's always so interesting to see, like, 6 months into the journey or so, that old person who carries those limited beliefs still shows up, and they get in the driver's seat of their bus. And I have to point it out, be like, who's driving the bus right now? Is this the old you, or is this the new you? Because listen, the old you is telling you all those same limited beliefs, and she is strong. She's probably been around since you were 10. And the way you believed and think and feel, like, it probably kept you safe. There's a reason that she was there. But now we have to identify, like, I am the new me. These are my new beliefs, and it keeps coming up. But what were your deep limited beliefs? And what do you see in your clients too?
Yeah.
Do you see common threads with this?
Totally. So it's like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm too fat. I'm ugly. I don't look good enough. Lack mentality. Oh my gosh, I don't have enough food in my cart for my binge night. I'll never have enough. I'll never be enough. I'll never, have enough time. I'll never do a good enough job in my job. Right. Like, but it all comes down to unworthiness and not feeling good enough. And once I lose the weight, I'll be happy. Once I lose the weight, I'll date. Once I lose the weight, I'll go. So there's a lot of like conditional, like, unless you're below this weight.
Yes.
You can't live life. And I did that. I had lost weight, and I had a good friend, and we had seen each other a few times, and then I gained weight, and we were supposed to gain to 80 pounds, and we were supposed to go skiing together. And I kept making up excuses why I couldn't go. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to stop that. Like, it doesn't matter. And literally a week before we were supposed to go skiing, he died in a car accident. And I was like, I will never hold back because I feel shame about my weight ever again. Yeah, it was like such an eye-opening experience for me because he wouldn't have cared. It was my insecurity. What if he notices I've gained weight? What if he treats me differently? Like, this is the dialogue that we can hang on to. And then things like that happen and you never get to see the person again, right? So this is why addressing limiting beliefs is so important, because you're right. Between age 0 and 7, we create our identity, our beliefs, our subconscious mind is fully open and takes everything in and programs the way we feel and behave and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, I'll use the bus example. When I was 5 and I got bullied on the bus, right? I'm fat and ugly, take on that identity. Your inner child, whether it was you a week ago that went through something or you when you were 5, gets wounded and hangs on to those wounds in your brain and in your subconscious mind and your nervous system. And that births what is called the ego mind, or maybe you call it the inner critic. Some people call it the shadow, but that is the voice in your mind that belittles you, that criticizes you, that beats you up, breaks you down, tells you you're not good enough, that tells you have willpower, don't binge. But then it's like, you had a bad day, you should go do it anyway. And then shames you afterward because you did it. Right? The lack, fear, worry, anger, frustration, jealousy, loathing, criticism. These are all emotions that we feel when we give our power away to that ego or inner critic, which lives in the mind. And so one of the biggest parts of the healing is to actually learn to be aware of what triggers you to give your power away to your ego. And how do I take my power back? Which your power is in your heart. That's where the true you really resides. And when you're in your power, you're relaxed, you trust, you have confidence, faith, you're willing to take risks. Even if it's uncomfortable, you believe in yourself, you have self-love, worth, you build all of that. Now, the biggest block that's in between that we have to work on is we have to work on rewiring what is safe. Because in the beginning, when I was like, I love myself, I'm worthy, I'm like, this is bull. Like, this doesn't feel like real. I feel like a fraud. And that's because, number one, you have to reprogram your subconscious minds, which means like repetition of positive affirmations and things you want to feel. And then eventually, it builds up in the mind. And the other thing is your brain, your amygdala is your fight or flight center of the brain. And it is familiar and comfortable with you belittling and putting yourself down and your inner critic calling the shots. And so when you start to try and catch it and apologize to yourself and build yourself up, it's uncomfortable. And your amygdala senses discomfort as a threat to your survival. And it's like, no, revert back to the old. Don't do this. So part of what we need to understand is how the brain works and how the fight or flight center works. And you're going to feel discomfort making these changes, catching negative self-talk, apologizing and forgiving yourself, healing your inner child, positive self-talk, whatever it is, you're going to feel discomfort, but it's part of the process. There's no growth in a comfort zone and no growth in a comfort zone. So that will shift and it will click, but you've got to be in it and stay in it. Even on the days where you've been so hard on yourself, you take your power back, you apologize, and you move forward. So I wanted to explain all of that because I think some people get frustrated with just trying to say nice things to themselves and it not feeling resonant. And this is why, because it's going to take time. If you spent years or decades hating yourself or loathing, it's going to take more than a week to shift this. And it's the way the subconscious and the brain and the ego mind work. But you can learn how to manage your ego and live a lot more in your power, which is where you're going to experience the peace, the mindful choices, of course, I'm going to take time for myself. I'm worth it. Right? Yeah.
Yep. I sent a picture to my clients. Have you seen any of like those pictures on Instagram? And it's like the ugly Barbie face. And
totally.
You see those? And she's like on fire, like something's happening. And I sent it to one of my clients and the theme on it or whatever, it had the ugly Barbie face. And she was like, hair was all fried. And she was like all weird looking. And it said something like, the world is burning down around behind me and I'm still going to the gym.
Heck yeah.
And I was like, this right here, laugh at it, save it, think it's funny, but this is where I want you to go. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be gym. It's just, that's what it said.
Totally.
But it's like, the world can be on fire, but I'm still going to love me.
Yeah.
Get to a place where all this can still be going on, but this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do, even through these stressful times.
Totally. 100%. Do you know how powerful it is to heal and to have your power in this connection within you that, stuff's going on in the world, but I'm like, I literally trust my intuition and I'm good. And the best thing we can all do is work on ourselves and hold a good intent. Like, I am not willing to give my energy and power away to things out of my control and just stress myself out for no reason.
Yep.
Power, it's truly loving yourself gives you so much.
Yep. It's incredible. But I'm so glad that you were talking about like how long this truly takes, because we live in that instant gratification world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything. Like now swipe.
I know. Yeah. The good news is like you can start to feel better in as little as a week. Like I've got clients that have like, I've been bloated for 20 years and I'm like, oh, let's just tweak these couple things. They're like, my bloating is gone, or I'm pooping every day, or my energy's starting to improve. I caught 2 binges this week and I only binge once instead of 5 times. Like you're going to gain progression, sooner if you show up. But yeah, like the mindset, self-love, self-worth piece takes the longest to shift because you've been programmed that way since you were a child.
Yeah. So long.
Be patient.
I'm so glad you brought up that story too, of when you were 5 and on the bus and like, it shows how early that starts.
Yeah, totally.
And then just sticks with you. And then, but we're grown ass women now, like, what do you mean that like what someone said to me when I was a 5-year-old little girl?
Yeah. Totally. I had to go in and do that, visualize that experience over and over with my inner child, like about 12 times to help her fully clear it. But I did so she could be free of it. Right. That's the inner child work.
Yep. I have to ask really quick before we go, because I know I'll get questions on this. The difference between, because we've talked about binging and binge eating. And I know people are like, well, what's the difference between emotional eating and a binge?
Totally. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a big question for our listeners. And like, what's the difference? Because they're like, well, I stood in the pantry and I ate like way too many Oreos. Did I binge?
Yeah.
Was that a binge, or was I just sitting there in my emotions?
Yeah, good question. And so the first thing is any form of emotional eating, binge eating or food addiction, bulimia, whatever, it's like, you're eating out of this place of emotional hunger. You have this lack of self-love, this void that you're trying to fill with food that you're never going to fill with food. So emotional eating is eating for any reason other than physical nourishment. And so is binge eating, but there's different levels of it. So something though has triggered you. Now, most people are not aware what has triggered them. And that's why you find yourself in the pantry eating Oreo cookies. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? It's like you didn't even realize it at first. And so it can start with boredom or loneliness or sadness or celebration, or I've had a bad day, I'm going to reward myself. And it starts with a couple scoops of ice cream or a little bag of chips, but you're not physically hungry. You actually don't need to physically eat. This is emotional. And if you don't know the differences between physical and emotional hunger, like that hunger signal, right? Stomach growl, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it can be a small amount though, but something triggers it. There's some form of emotional eating trigger that is triggering you to go to food, a craving. You waited too long to eat lunch. Now you're too hungry and now you're just mindlessly eating all kinds of things. But it's usually like, it could be a very small, innocent amount, but it's happening maybe right after you eat dinner and you're like, I'm not even hungry, but I want something sweet, right? the kids, you finish your food and you're full, but you're like, oh my God, out of guilt, I need to eat the kids' leftovers because they're starving kids. It's like, don't be a garbage can. You don't need to eat your kids' leftovers. But those are the innocent things that we may do that are emotional eating. And then emotional eating can turn into kind of like the moderate level is now you're eating 2 little bags of chips and like a half a chocolate bar, and you're eating and you may notice some digestive discomfort afterward. You start to feel that guilt or regret, or maybe you're frustrated. Oh, I can't believe I meant to only have 1 donut and I had 2 or 3.
Okay.
It's like this middle ground where you may, like I said, start to have a little bit of brain fog or fatigue or bloating afterward. And then where we start to get into overeating, into binge eating, it's the full loss of control. And so you eat something and it triggers all or nothing, where you're like, I've messed up. I shouldn't have done that. My diet's ruined. I'm going to eat whatever I want. And now you eat until you're so full you're sick, whether it's in one episode or you just totally like the whole day are just eating. So all or nothing really triggers the binging and the overeating to the point where you feel so full you're sick. Also the mentality of like, I need to eat all of this and get it out of the house because I don't want to be tempted tomorrow. That's like the binge eating, right? And then certain ingredients are put into food products that we get addicted to. Okay. Yep. So processed sugar, MSG, all kinds of things. And these ingredients literally give you a huge dopamine high, which is the pleasure response. Mm-hmm. And that all of a sudden can just make you be like, I just want to keep eating. And that can trigger the binge eating. But it's all the same, like emotional binge eating triggers. Like you may be only eating a bit, but it's all stemming from the same place. Just again, the self-loathing and the unworthiness. Some of those voids are bigger if we're going into binge eating.
Yeah, that's helpful to understand that and everything, because I think it's important to understand where you're at too. So you can identify like,
totally
moving to the next kind of category. Is this getting worse?
Yeah, which it can for sure, because the more you eat, the more your appetite actually increases. And if the more hormone issues and blood sugar issues you create, and then it makes your cravings bigger. So it can start as a very innocent, minor emotional eating and turn into a full-blown binge eating food addiction where all you're thinking about is food and trying to weigh and measure and control your food, or you're just losing control with it. But it consumes your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you say to the person listening right now that knows they have a problem and they're like, this is a lot. This really opened my eyes. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. Like, where do I start? Where do I even go from here? Like, this is a great episode, but like, now what do I do?
Yeah. First, take a deep breath. You're not alone, my friend. Like the fact that you found this is divine intervention and now you have some more awareness. You're not alone. Try to clear the shame and have compassion for yourself. It's not your fault. This is so much bigger than, what we've been taught how to deal with. It's very complex. And then you get to decide, okay, are there some resources I want to accumulate and listen and build awareness, and maybe before I just go to food, I'm going to start asking myself, is this physical hunger or emotional hunger?
I love it.
And leave the kitchen and maybe try and understand what's triggering you. Those are places you can start, and listening to podcasts and things where these conversations are had. Or maybe you're like, I need to get help. I'm like ready. Right? So tune into whatever feels right for you. But if you've been struggling for years and decades, I would encourage you to reach out and get some support, because you can heal this and overcome it. And we don't want this to be something you take all the way through the rest of your life.
No.
But you're not alone, and you don't have to do it alone either.
Mm-mm. I love it. Tell me about the No Sugarcoating podcast.
Yeah.
Send everyone over there.
Thank you. Yeah. So it is a wonderful podcast where I don't sugarcoat it, but everything that we talked about today, I will talk about much more in depth in the show. We have over 600 episodes. And it's just a great free resource to help you start to build awareness or start gaining more traction on your journey. And it's available on all podcast apps as well as my website, amberapproved.ca.
Oh, nice. I wanted to make sure I brought that up because as you were talking about like things that we can do now, like it's so important to make sure we're filling our brain with the right things. And podcast episodes are so easy to do and to consume. And it just keeps your goals and what you're focusing on like right here, in the front between your eyes.
I agree with you 100%.
Amber, where can everyone find you, follow you? Give us the lowdown. We'll make sure we put everything in the show notes too.
Yeah, thank you. So the website is amberapproved.ca. If you're wondering if you're struggling with emotional or binge eating, I have a free quiz you can take that will give you some resources. I just brought in a hormone quiz as well, so you can check that out. And then if you want to explore support, you want help with binge eating, emotional eating, hormone testing, gut, whatever is going on, you can book a 30-minute complimentary consultation. It's via Zoom, so I connect with women all over the world, and we can talk and see what your struggles are, your goals, and see if it works to go on the path together. And then I'm on social media, Instagram primarily, and it is my name at Amber Romaniuk, Romaniuk.
I love it. Oh my God, Amber, this was incredible. This is one of those episodes that just make light bulbs go off. People pass it on to other people. It changes their life. And they're like, you know what? This one day I heard this Amber chick and then I started listening to her podcast and like my life changed after that. This is that type of episode. So I can't thank you enough for coming on and helping me create this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me and just holding such a great space to have this conversation.
Yes. And I hope we keep it going too. I hope,
me too. 100%.
I hope this is the first of many.
I agree.
You guys go to the show notes, check her out, give a like and follow because it's so important to fill your brain with the right information, the right people to help you stay on your goals and hit everything. But thank you again, Amber, for coming on. And
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. The Bomb Life podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content shared here is not intended as medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any health, fitness, financial, or legal decisions. The opinions shared on this podcast are personal experiences and insight. So if you need expert guidance, go find the right professional for you. Thanks for listening.